So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. And this is the second. This is the second submission that we are going to read, and this was done by Aviral Yadav. This is a prose rather than a poetry, and this too talks about their life and time from days in the springtime, the days of the springtime. Okay, and the first one that we had read was penned by Mehul. Mehul is with us today, tonight, per se, and we are going to start with Aviral's piece. I just want to confirm if I am audible. If you can hear me, a thumbs up would be. Oh, look, Rizzy is here. Hello, Rizzy. Thank you for joining. Rizzy has a lot of Riz, guys. A lot of Riz. Yeah, I have a special name for him. Won't say that. Where's the color? Yeah, that is the thing, bro. The emojis are looking like silhouettes, but that's the beauty of it, I guess. It's not the beauty, I know, but then again, I have to defend open source. They are ghosts, indeed, indeed, indeed. Okay, so let's get started. From the pages of childhood, penned by Rao Aviral Yadav or Aviral Yadav. And Aviral says, "Hello, readers. Aviral Yadav this side. I hail from the vibrant city of Lucknow, UP. Currently, I'm 19 years old and pursuing a BS in data science from IIT Madras. But I was not actually born in Lucknow. I first saw the light of day in a small town called Palia, about 4 hours away from Lucknow by car. Palia holds a special place in my heart. It was where my maternal grandparents used to live. Used to, because they have passed away now. But the memories of my holidays there remain my most cherished treasure, a vault of joy and laughter. As they say, childhood days are priceless, precious beyond anything else. They were filled with innocence, simplicity, and a beautiful sense of equality. Back then, where there were no barriers of caste, color, ethnicity, or religion. If you liked someone, you just became friends. No questions asked, no judgments made. And to be honest, I was a very friendly kid back then. Like, way too friendly. Let me give you an example. When I was 6, during my chacha's wedding, or a little before it, for those who don't know, chacha means uncle, okay, your father's younger brother. During my chacha's wedding, or a little before it, we went to meet my chachi for the marriage proposal. Arranged marriages were the norm back then, obviously, as if they are not now. After reaching my chachi's house, I was absolutely exhausted. And for some mysterious reason, lots of euphemism, and for some mysterious reason, I had carried a bottle of oil with me. Don't ask me why. I was a peculiar kid. Feeling tired, I walked straight up to my chachi's father, confidently demanded a massage, and oh well, after recovering from the shock of my audacity, he actually gave me one. I thoroughly enjoyed it too. My little spa moment in the middle of all the wedding chaos. Later, during the Bharat, my love for dancing took center stage. But here's the thing, whenever I felt my exceptional dance moves were not getting the attention they deserved, which was obviously unacceptable, I came up with a genius plan. I would march up to random strangers, give their butts a playful pluck. Okay. Give their butts a playful pluck. Okay. and confidently asked them to join me on the dance floor. To my surprise, and probably theirs too, they would actually join in. Because honestly, who can say no to a dancing kid full of mischief and charm? Well, my antics didn't stop there. Let's dive into one of my unforgettable summer vacations in Palia. The excitement for summer holidays would start brewing even a week before they officially began. Our suitcases would be neatly packed by my mom, complete with some snacks for the journey. We would be all set for the trip, eagerly waiting for my Nana to arrive in his trusty Toyota. The moment his car pulled up, it felt like the adventure had officially begun. The 4 hour long journey would commence, and as soon as hunger struck, why would I settle for homemade food when Nana was with us? After all, he was the enabler of my foodie dreams. So we made it a mission to stop at multiple dhabas along the way. And guess what? Every single stop was dedicated to my one true love, paneer. Since I was in charge of ordering, a position I took very seriously, we indulged in every variety you can think of. Palak paneer, kadhai paneer, matar paneer, shahi paneer, the list goes on. Don't ask me how many types there were. Just know that paneer was, is, and always will be my first love. When we finally reached Palia, here's a fun fact. We didn't need any signs to identify the place. Nope. It was the smell that gave it away. The moment the windows rolled down, you were hit with the unmistakable scent of cow dung at the entrance and a whiff of chemical sugar. Now, I know many would find that nauseating, but for some reason, I actually loved that smell back then. It felt like home. After reaching the colony where my Nana and Nani lived, I would get freshened up and go through all the formalities. But as soon as I could, I would run straight to the temple at the heart of the colony. I would wait there, knowing the moment the other kids saw me, they would come rushing over. For them, I was like a foreigner from Lucknow, and it created this irresistible urge to meet me. Since the colony was so compact, word spread quickly that we were from Lucknow, and by now I wasn't a stranger. I was practically a local legend in those parts. I would bring all sorts of things from Lucknow to Palia: video games, playing cards, and other toys. But to be honest, I wasn't really into those typical toys. Instead, I would get creative. I would gather tree leaves and use them as makeshift money, then set up a little pawn shop by the temple stairs. I would take on the role of the shopkeeper, and we would all take turns playing different roles in our little pawn shop empire. Next up was the business game, or what we would call Monopoly today. It was wildly popular. So popular, in fact, that while only four of us were playing, more than 15 kids of all ages would gather around, offering advice and cheering us on like it was the World Cup of board games. Since smartphones were not a thing back then, the kids actually played and we enjoyed each other's company without any distractions. No social awkwardness at all. At least not for me. I vividly remember one of the most memorable days. On the second day of my vacation, it started raining. And what did we do? Well, we seven, yes, seven, Seven friends decided to take naked baths in the rain, fully embracing the muddy joy of it all. We rolled around like little sumo wrestlers, slipping in the mud and laughing our heads off. Of course, my mother didn't exactly share the same enthusiasm for my mud bath. After catching sight of me covered in dirt, she chased me around like a storm. But hey, it was worth it for that unforgettable moment of pure childhood bliss. Now, after all the fun and chaos, a growing kid like me needed some serious energy to keep going. And what better way to fuel up than with peras? See, my Nana had a deep love for peras. Every week, he would buy a massive box full of them, enough to share with the entire family. By the end of the week, the box would be empty and then a fresh one would arrive. But when I showed up in Palia, things took a little twist. As the saying goes, genes are passed down from generation to generation. And believe me, my love for pedas was inherited directly from Nana. I was just as obsessed with them as he was. But here's the thing, every time I'd get a max of 2 or 3 pedas a day, which, let's be honest, was way too little for a growing kid like me. As I have mentioned before, a kid's appetite is as big as their dreams, and mine definitely needed more pedas to fuel it. So I let my inner Hrithik Roshan, the Dhoom 2 version, rise and shine, transforming into a world class peda smuggler. I was also generous, though sharing the loot with my friends. After my Ritik awakening, Nana realized that the Pira box had mysteriously disappeared within just 3 days. Suspicious, right? He asked me about it, and of course, I gave him my most innocent face and said, I don't know. But, well, let's be real. He wasn't buying it for a second. So, what did he do? He put a lock on the fridge, and not just any lock. This one was built right into the fridge itself. Little did he know, the saga was far from over. A big shot smuggler. This was my first major setback. Okay, sorry. As a big shot smuggler, this was my first major setback. But giving up? Not an option. I was determined to continue my Peda empire. So, I tried everything I could think of. First, I grabbed a screwdriver and tried to loosen the screws on the fridge. But those screws were way too tight for my tiny hands. Talk about a total failure. Undeterred, I decided to up my game and went for the next level, a knife. I tried to open a small gap in the fridge, hoping for a breakthrough. But nope, the fridge stayed firmly locked and my plans still thwarted. It felt like I was defeated, but the Peda smuggler in me was not about to give up so easily. No, the saga was far from over. As they say, heavens never block one's all paths. And just like that, I found my way. After many failed attempts, I discovered my secret weapon, my nails. For some mysterious reason, my overgrown nails could slip right into the lock and twist it open. It was painful. So painful, but hey, no pain, no gain, right? So I endured the pain that felt like it lasted an eternity, twisting and turning until The lock finally opened. I grabbed the box of pedas and took as much as I could carry, which, let's be real, wasn't much with my tiny hands. But hey, six pedas at once, that was a win in my book. For now, at least. A few days later, the unthinkable happened. The peda box was empty again. But this time, Nana was genuinely confused. How could I have opened the lock when he had the keys? Well, the mystery was solved, but not by him. No, my Mossy, with her keen eyes, caught me in the act. For those who don't know, Mossy is your mother's sister, okay? And Nana and Nani are, of course, maternal grandparents. Nana being the guy, Nani being the woman. With her keen eyes, caught me in the act. Naturally, I was caught red-handed, and after some serious scolding from Nana and Mom, my mom took matters into her own hands and cut my nails. This was my second major setback. But as any world-class smuggler knows, you never give up, especially when your reputation is on the line. So the lock went back on, and a brand new box of pedas was placed inside. And when I say brand new, I mean not a single peda had been touched. But did that stop me? Of course not. The game was still on. After countless failed attempts, knives, screwdrivers, and even my best, let's try again. Face nothing seemed to work. But as they say, heaven never seals one's all paths. And just when I thought I was out of options, something magical happened. I spotted a key hanging in Nana's office. It was a garage key, and for some mysterious reason, I felt an inexplicable connection to it. It was like the heavens themselves were guiding me, whispering, "Use this, young one." So I picked it up. Sure, it was a bit of an odd match for the fridge lock, but who cares? I only needed the tip of the key, and to my surprise, the fridge opened. This time, I was fed up and tired of the constant scolding and the fridge locking drama. I felt like a genius, so I grabbed a small bowl, loaded it up with as many pedas as I could, which was half the box. Hey, I wasn't greedy, just strategic, and sat back, basking in the glory of my success. After congratulating myself for a solid half hour, because let's be real, I was feeling like the Einstein of the smuggling world, I proudly ran to the temple where all the fun usually went down. Of course, I shared the pedas with my friends, but let's just say I made sure to take the lion's share. But alas, my genius had a fatal flaw. The box was brand new. No one had touched it yet. And of course, everyone in the house had started to suspect who the peda thief was. By now, it was a full blown case of who stole the pedas. And the answer was, of course, me. When I was finally confronted and asked how I managed to open the fridge this time, I didn't hesitate to spill the beans. I used the garage keys, I proudly declared. Now, I didn't confess because I was scared or anything. Oh no, I was just way too proud of my genius lock opening skills. In that moment, I couldn't help but feel like a secret agent, and I needed everyone to know just how brilliant I was. So I shared my triumph deliberately with full confidence, just so everyone could bask in my intellectual greatness. After my big reveal, Nana just sighed, and Mom did too. I guess they realized that they couldn't win against my genius. So from that point on, no more locks on the fridge. They had given up. Now, for some inexplicable reason, my new title, Pedachor, spread like wildfire. And it was all thanks to my Mossy. She proudly shared my accomplishments with everyone, even calling me Pedachor in front of her friends. I mean, I did like the idea of being the Hrithik Roshan of Dhoom 2, cool, mysterious, and smooth. But being called a thief by my own family, that was a bit too much. I have class, okay? And I liked my Mossy's friend. I liked my Mossy's friends. So, being called Peracho in front of them, embarrassing. But wait, this wasn't the end. It was just getting started. Then came the greatest betrayal of all. The very friends I had shared my precious pedas with, the ones I had fed and nourished, started calling me Pedachur too. Can you imagine? The same kids I had given half of my stash to, people I had practically spilled blood, sweat, and tears for, turned on me like this. And it was all thanks to Mossy, who had somehow spread my legendary Pedachur status far and wide. To be betrayed like this by those I had trusted, nothing hurt more. I felt like my entire world had been turned upside down. And now I wanted revenge. Revenge for all the injustice, for the constant taunting, for the betrayal. And so my villain arc began. To seek revenge, I first had to become vengeance itself. After watching The Dark Knight, I drew inspiration from both the Joker and Batman. I knew exactly what I had to do. In Nana's home, there was only one main gate that led to the bathroom and washroom area. The washroom had a separate door, but the bathroom, it had a curtain. The perfect setup for my grand plan. After noting the exact time my Mossy went to bathe and carefully planning my next move, I set my diabolical plan into action. The main door to the bathroom was always kept open, allowing anyone to enter the washroom area, while the bathroom itself had a curtain for privacy. And as soon as my Mossy stepped into the bathroom and started her bath, I seized my opportunity. With the deepest, most menacing voice I could muster, I shouted, I am vengeance, and then swiftly grabbed her clothes, towel included, that were hanging outside. I sprinted away, my villainous spirit taking over. My Mossy took a moment to comprehend what had happened, then panicked, scrambling to find all her clothes. Just when I thought I had successfully delivered my vengeance, the universe struck back with an unexpected twist. At that precise moment, my Mossy unleashed her superpower. Dee. And just like that, all my hopes and dreams came crashing down. There she was, my mom, sitting right in front of me, like a judge in the court of life, looking at me with the most unimpressed stare. I froze, completely caught off guard. Heavens, what had I done wrong? Wasn't I supposed to at least get some sweet revenge for all the wrongs done to me? I felt cheated. Success was so close, but alas, I was destined for failure. It was like a villain's ultimate plot unraveling at the last minute. So, after hearing my Mossy's dramatic cries that could rival a Bollywood scene, my mom stormed in and began her epic lecture series. After what felt like an eternity, okay, half an hour, but still, the storm finally passed, and I was a free bird again. My mood was flatter than a pancake, and my face looked like I had lost a staring contest with a wall. But then, plot twist, I saw Nana sneak a fresh box of pedas into the fridge. Instantly, all the gloom evaporated, and I couldn't even remember why I was sulking in the first place. Mood fully restored. Recalling all those memories now is like flipping through an old photo album, full of moments that feel both distant and so close at the same time. It's a bittersweet nostalgia, especially when I think about the people who were there with me then and how they are no longer around. But those memories, those moments of innocence, will always be treasures I hold close. It's crazy to think about how much I have changed over the years. I went from being that overly friendly kid who could talk to anyone and everyone to someone who now keeps to themselves more. From a kid who would never give up on anything, even if it was something as small as sneaking extra pedas, to someone who sometimes feels like giving up when the going gets tough. From seeing everyone around me as equals, not caring about differences, to now sometimes finding myself caught up in my own pride, using words that hurt people I love. It's funny how life pushes you through phases, sometimes making you feel like you have lost parts of yourself. But I think deep down I'm still that same kid who believed in fairness and friendship. Maybe I've just learned some hard lessons along the way. I guess it's all about growing, reflecting, and finding ways to reconnect with who I was and who I want to be. I vividly recall a moment from when I was in fifth grade and serving as the head boy. One day, my sports teacher pulled me aside and said, "Son, try not to change who you are. Keep that child inside you alive and kicking." Because too many people unknowingly lose that spark, burying the child within them. At the time, I didn't fully understand what he meant, but now I get it. I truly do. It's as though those words were a seed planted in my mind, one that only started to sprout with time. The innocence, the joy, the fearless curiosity of being a child, those are things we often lose as we grow older, buried under responsibilities, expectations, and the harshness of the world. But now I realize how important it is to hold on to that childlike spirit, It's the source of creativity, resilience, and even the courage to keep going when things get tough. Thank you, Saitika, for giving me the opportunity to write under the banner of From Pages of Childhood. It allowed me to reconnect with those forgotten experiences and rediscover hidden traits I naturally possessed. More importantly, it reminded me of the joy we found even in the smallest things or when we had nothing at all. It also made me reflect on the people who passed with time but will never fade from my heart. Once again, thank you.